You got it all. A beautiful manicured lawn in the front. But your son doesn't fit in this town. He's a wackadoo. He's a loony toony. And he hangs around with those two buffaloes. Those buffaloes. Who's are those buffaloes? Those guys who lift weights. Who are those barbarians? Who are those barbarians? Who do they belong to? They don't fit in this town either. Those three. Those three do not fit in, Yid. Those three Yids. They don't fit in with the other kids. Those three Yids. Who are those buffaloes anyway? They're always hanging with your son. And there's another one of them. A black one. They hang out with a black one. A Negro. They hang out with a Negro. A black boy. His name is Tatius. Have you ever heard of such a name, Tatius, before? But I got to admit, he's spacious and the one and only Smart the Hop. But these four characters do not belong in our town. They do not belong in Western Hartford. Don't want to drive a Ford. Unless you can't afford anything else. Unetiquette, con etiquette. And so, Mr. and Mrs. Platt, or is it Mr. and Mrs. Splat? Because you continue to splatter your son, and 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 splatter and splatter, and splatter your son. And splatter your son, and splatter your son. And splatter and splatter, and splither your son. And splither your son. And splither your son. And splither and wither your son. And wither your son, and wither your son. And whittle and whittle and whittle your son. And twiddle and twiddle and twiddle and twaddle. And teetle and tattle and tootle and teetle. And veedle and vidle and voodle and doodle. And deedle and diddle and needle and noodle. And noodle and voodle and voodle and voodoo. And voodoo and you do and you do and you do. And you do and you do and you do and you do. And you do and you do and you do and you do. And you do as you please and you do as you please. And you do as you please. But why don't you want to Gordy to do what he pleases? What pleases him, and the one and only Smart the Hop, is to be a comic like Rich Little. And he has the talent. He has the God-given talent. But you all are so selfish. You want him to be what you want him to be. To please the people in your ugly, smugly, and down wrong, fugglier than fugly city of Western Hartford. Don't want to drive a Ford on etiquette, con etiquette. And the boys he hangs around with, they have big dreams to go to Unholywood in Los Angeles. And be like Arnold Schwarzenegger, flatulent. And they got the genetics, those white boys that are black. Have you ever seen those two? Have you ever seen those two twins, those two buffaloes? Ah, they're black all the way. Maybe their skin is white, but their hips are eight. Their abs are blah. Their boulder shoulders are cadibas. Their asses are barams. And they rhyme and chime and rhyme. All the time. And they move and they groove on the wrestling mat. Ha! Whoa! Whoo! Quick like a cat. They have dreams. They don't want to stay in Western Hartford on etiquette. Etiquette. They don't like the rootiful people here. They're not beautiful, they're rootiful. The people are rootiful in Western Hartford on etiquette, Connecticut. And so what's wrong? What's wrong with letting Gordy go? Let him go and follow his dream. Let him go and follow his dream. Let him go and follow his dream. Follow his dream and follow his dream. And follow and follow and follow his dream. And follow his dream and follow his dream. And follow and follow and follow his dream. Why be hollow on the one and only heart, the smart? Why not let your boy fly? Why not let him fly and fly and fly and fly? And fly and fly and fly so high. And fly and fly and fly and fly. And try and try and try and try. Try to follow his one and only smart, his heart. He loves comedy. He loves comedy, my dear. He loves comedy. He loves comedy. He loves making people laugh. And he's brilliant. He has the God-given talent. He has the God-given talent. He has the God-given. He has the God-given. He has the God-given talent. Let me tell you. Look what he did at University of Rhode Island. At University of Rhode Island, he went up on the stage. He went up on the stage there in a contest. A contest with the whole school. It was a remake, a reenactment of the Gong Show. And Gordy went up there and rocked the house to a standing ovation. He rocked the house to a standing ovation. What is that? How many children in the world could go in front of a college campus and do comedy and make people laugh to a standing ovation? That's talent, Mr. and Mrs. Platt. That is raw, God-given talent. And you continue to pound and pound and pound and pound and hound and hound and hound and hound and chisel and chisel and chisel away at the one and only smart, the heart. And make your son feel less than, that he's crazy because he wants to be a comic. He should sell something like all the rest of the yids who don't become lawyers or doctors or, if they're real losers, accountants. In that order. Boo, boo, boo. And of course I could say this because I was born a Jew through and through. Just like all of you. But the difference is I don't have an ego and envy, jealousy, the unfriendly. So I could stand here with an open heart and look at the Jews. I could look at the Jews, not the grape juice, the apple juice, the strawberry juice, or the pineapple juice from Pete Siegel. We're going to the gym with Pete Siegel. We're going to the gym with Pete Siegel. He's another one. He had a dream and followed his dream. He didn't want to listen to his parents. He was able to cut the rope and call a dope a dope. But he always held on like Gordy. He always held on, wanting to impress his parents. Even though he couldn't stand them, he hated them. Because of all the bickering and backering and liquoring and lacquering and slickering and slackering and smithering and smothering and smothering and not mothering